Hey y'all. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today. Happy Easter, first of all. Happy Easter, everybody. Uh we need to, as women, we're going to talk about, and there's a reason why I'm bringing this up, okay? Let's go to the pastor, this so-called pastor that he has his wife so religiously brainwashed that she irons his clothes for his so he could go out with his side chick. Okay? She helps him prepare to go with his side piece. And he has told her, I hate you. I wish I never married you. And her response to that is, one day you'll love me. You'll love me. And, she's telling the guy who's interviewing her, he calls me out my name, but it don't really bother me because God's voice is louder. I had made a comment under the video that her self-esteem is on the floor. Okay. Probably lower than the floor. I, I, every time you think you've heard it all, baby, you haven't. Oh no, you have not. Okay? Bear with me a sec. Bear with me a second. There were tornadoes in the area today, so that's just so much fun. Gotta love it. All right, let's see. Hold on. Your self-esteem's on the floor. So let's talk about he's operating on a sexual level like a lot of men do. Males, they're not real men. If you didn't worship your pecker and actually worship God, you would have no desire to be with someone else, because if you're supposed to be a pastor, you would know that marriage is ordained by God and it's supposed to be a sacred union, which obviously in their case it is not a sacred union. Not. So let's talk about what the Bible says about marriage, okay? All right. In the Bible, marriage is viewed as a sacred covenant created by God, a lasting bond of a man and a woman, and a picture of Christ's love for the church. It is seen as a deeply committed partnership where couples honor God, love each other sacrificially, and walk through life together. Key biblical perspectives on marriage: it's God's institution. The Bible portrays marriage as an institution established by God from the beginning of creation. It is a divine design, not just a human arrangement. Permanent and exclusive. Marriage is meant to be a lifelong union, a covenant for life, and exclusive between a husband and wife. One flesh, not one flesh plus your side pieces. The Bible emphasizes the oneness of marriage, where a man and a woman become one flesh. This signifies a deep, unified bond that transcends individual identities. Mutual love and respect, which does not involve you calling your wife out of her name, you fake pastor. Husbands are called to love their wives with selfless love. Selfless, not selfish, selfless love, mirroring Christ's love for the church. Wives are encouraged to respect and submit to their husbands, reflecting the church's submission to Christ according to Ephesians. Part of this is missing, so I'm going to fill in the damn blanks. It also says the husband, you're supposed to honor your husband, but it also says that the husband is to love his wife the way Christ loved the church. That's what's usually missing when the scriptures are spoken. That's usually missing. Witness to God's love. Marriage is a visible illustration of God's love and commitment to his people and a testimony of his faithfulness. Spiritual connection. Marriage is not just a physical. Let me repeat that. Let me repeat that. For people that are obsessed with screwing, let me repeat that. Marriage is not just a physical or emotional union, but a spiritual one, pointing to a greater love and commitment, according to 1 Corinthians 7:10 through 11. Nowhere in any of that does it say you are to have a side piece when you're sick and tired of jumping between your wife's legs. You need to jump between somebody else's legs. I never seen that scripture in the Bible. Okay? I never seen that. She irons his clothes and gets him prepared to go with his side piece. I will post the ridiculous video in the description. And this leads me to ladies. Let me have a sit down talk with you, sister to sister. Let's talk. I want you to have a deaf ear to all the excuses that men have, that they are convincing women to excuse their cheating with. Men have needs. You don't understand testosterone. You don't understand how strong a man's desire is. He's gonna die if he don't get it. I got blue balls. You gotta help me release pressure. I got blue balls. Men have told me that there's no such thing as blue balls. It's just some bullshit that men came up with to guilt you into giving it to them. Some act like they're gonna die if they don't get it. Well, go ahead and die. Go ahead, because you sound too dumb to breathe anyway, so we won't miss you when you're gone, because they're trying to guilt you into opening your legs for them. Don't listen to these idiot men. Don't listen to anybody on YouTube, off YouTube, in real life, face to face, over here in a coffee shop. Don't listen to that bullshit that men are going to die without it and you don't understand how this works. If you're married, fool, you're supposed to have desire for your wife. What? You're supposed to have desire for your wife. She is there to relieve you of all this unbearable pressure. And if she's there and she's your one and only, why are you sticking it in other people? Because you're trying to justify cheating. You're trying to justify it. And all the bullshit lies that men have said about desire is so strong and so powerful. You don't get it. I get that you worship puss. That I get. You don't care about the person attached to it. But you do worship puss and you worship your dick. You're not worshiping the person you're supposed to, the entity, the spirit that you're supposed to worship, you're not worshiping that. Remember I said in another video, if you don't worship God, there's another God you worship? If you don't worship God, there's another God you worship. And tail is the real reason, puss is the real reason why you act the way you do. But you can't really tell women that. I get bored after I have sex with somebody a couple times. I get bored. So I have to have this need met with somebody else. That's the part of the story they're not telling you. Ladies, I've known really good men. I've known really good men who don't act like a horse's ass when it comes to his stupid wang. I know men that love with their heart and not their dick. That leads me to my next topic, which is Kyle and Jenny. Like I said before, they were the most loving, beautiful couple I've ever seen. Their love is spectacular. She died of cancer. So, somebody just texted me. She died of cancer, and But their love was pure. It was pure. And they were friends only for many years before they got married. They didn't jump in a sack to see if they're compatible. Okay. Their friendship was based on true feelings for each other, love, friendship, love. And then they were seeing other people because they weren't involved with each other. And then they eventually got involved with each other. And then they got married and had kids. And she eventually died from cancer. But their love is so pure. And he did not lead with his weighing. He led with his heart. His heart, not his weighing. So the other day, his grandpa, which is his mom's dad, he was having issues and he was kind of out of it. He was out of it. He was in the car and somebody, I don't know who it was, they observed him trying to put a seatbelt on, but he seemed really out of it. Anyway, come to find out he had a small stroke, which is called a transient ischemic attack. It is basically a blockage in the brain, but the brain is, the vessels are blocked, like a small blockage, and it caused him to be out of it. Okay. Got admitted to the hospital. This is his mom's dad, like I said. Got admitted to the hospital, and his heart arrested for about 15 minutes, which I knew was a bad sign. I didn't tell him that I think your grandpa's dying because it's not really something you want to tell people. But I'm thinking, oh, so he's already, basically, his body is trying to shut down already. And they had him on a vent, and he couldn't breathe on his own, and he'd get really good. His color would come back, and he would be energetic and talkative, and then he'd be out of it again. And I thought that's a bad sign too, because when someone's leaving this world, they can appear to be way better. Their color's better, they're talkative, they're alert, they're hungry, they're thirsty, and then they plummet. So he died. The palliative doctor came and had a meeting with them, which is never a good sign. When the doctor wants to meet you in this conference room, it's not a good sign. And they were like, what do you want to do? I mean, we can give him a tracheotomy, as far as, because his breathing is labored and he had fluid on his lungs. And this is what happened to Jenny when she was dying too. And the doctor's like, we could do additional measures, and the family decided no, and he didn't want that anyway. So, it was really hard for, Kyle and the kids, because they've been in and out of the hospital with their mom throughout the years with the whole cancer thing. And she had to have extremely painful procedures, fluid drained off her lungs, and just a horrific mess. So here Grandpa is in the hospital, and the kids are remembering, and Kyle's remembering, we were in and out of the hospital with Jenny, and it just brings back flashback to those bad memories. But he's at peace now. He's not suffering anymore. So he's with his wife. So that's a good thing. His wife passed away before him. But here's where he's a real man, and Kyle is a real man, and he taught Kyle to be a real man. Real men do not obsess about their penis. They don't. They have desires, of course, but that's not their whole world. Here's their, and in some cases that's the right size. Anyway, here's their pecker, and here's the world. Okay, here's the world. Going around and around and around and around and around their dick. Everything involves their fucking dick. I'm so fucking tired of them. Anyway, when Kyle was little, his dad decided, peace out. He was like 3 or 4, and his dad jetted. And because his grandpa is a real man, there's so few of those left. He's a real man. He stepped in and became like a father to him. he basically considered Kyle his son. He trained him, raised him, taught him how to play golf. He still plays golf to this day. Took care of him every which way. Came to all of his games when he was involved with coaching and college and everything. He was always there. Always there for him. Always there for him. So this is another reason why this is a double whammy, because he was basically his dad. Okay? That is the reason why Kyle is a gentleman, because he was raised by a gentleman. Did I go there? Yes, I did. He wasn't raised to be a horn dog pig. He wasn't raised to, well, if they don't want to give it to you, drop something in their drink. Ooh, did I go there? Yes, I did. Drop something in their drink. Before you know it, they don't know what's going on. You could do whatever you want to them. Because men got to have it. They're going to die otherwise. Even though they got a wife at home. I got to have it from somebody else, because if I don't, I'll die. These are examples of real men. Kyle is a real man. He loved from his heart, his heart, his heart. Okay? His heart. When he read his love story, now he and Jenny both wrote love stories about how they felt when they met each other, and it's just beautiful. And I was struggling not to cry when he was talking about it. He was reading his. I was like, oh my God, I can't keep it together. I was teary-eyed, I can't lie. If I find it, I will post it at some point. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it, but it was so emotional and it was so touching. And nowhere in that love story is, and when we finally became a couple, I couldn't wait to tap that ass. Nowhere in there. You know why? Because he's not a fucking asshole. Because he's a decent man. Because he loves from his heart. He was raised to be a good man from a child to a grown-up, from a man who is a real man too. Do not let girls don't need to be doing this. Ladies, grown-ass women, do not allow these assholes, stupid-ass, toxic bastards. Don't let them convince you that you got to give it up. That's what you have to do. You got to do it. You have to. Yes, I got a girlfriend at home, or yes, I got a wife at home. Don't worry about that. What about, I got to have it from you. I just have to. You don't understand men's needs. Don't buy into their fucking excuses. We're going to keep it raw today. Do not buy into their fucking excuses. I don't want to hear no more goddamn excuses about why men got to stick it everywhere. I don't give a shit, because I've seen what a real man looks like. Not in my personal life, but I've seen what a real man looks like when I look at Kyle, when I look at how his grandpa treated him and taught him the way of life. This is what you do. This is what you don't damn do. Okay? So his father leaving basically did him a favor, because grandpa put on his boots, dad boots, and he did what he had to do. And he raised a man who's a gentleman. Kudos to you, Grandpa. I don't know you, but I love your spirit. Kudos to you, Grandpa. Wow. It's refreshing to know that there are some out there that are decent men. Decent, honorable men. They are so few and far in between, and I'm sure the same is true for women. Women are nasty too. They can't wait to put their legs, wrap their legs backwards behind their head so somebody can ram them. Fuck that shit. You're going to find out the hard way that there's a lot more to life. You're going to find that shit out the hard way. Okay? I'm going to tell you what Nurse Julie said, and I'm going to let you guys go. She's a hospice nurse, and she did a video where she talked about what people regret on their dying, on their deathbed. What do they regret? And she said a lot of times people said, they miss spending more time with their family and friends, that they wish they didn't work as much. What else? There were a couple other things. I can't remember them, right off the bat. I can't remember all of them. But nowhere on that list is, I should have screwed more. Nowhere on that list did any person who's dying say, I wish I'd screwed more people. Some of y'all are so fucking immature. You got to grow up. You've got to grow up. And if you can't, and you stuck as a child, You are supposed to be a grown-up and you stuck thinking like a horny teenager? You better wake up. Get your ass in counseling. See if your insurance will cover that. Because something is severely wrong with you if you reduce your entire world to worshiping that. If you don't worship God, you're going to worship something else. And one of the commandments specifically says, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Okay? And that includes sex, drugs, alcohol. Pull it together, grow up. I know a lot of y'all don't have decent parents. So you're like a satellite spinning in space and you don't have a clue what's right and what's wrong. It's not your fault that you didn't have guidance, so your brain you just following the status quo. You doing whatever god dang else is doing. You know what I'm saying? They're doing stupid shit, and you're following behind everybody else, your peers and whatnot. Don't follow dumbness. Follow what you're supposed to do, what a real man does, what a real woman does. Okay? Don't follow these dumbasses out here because a lot of them are catching HIV. Did I or did I not freaking tell you that in the state of South Carolina, let's see, they've got 15,000, as of August of 2024, they have 15,000 new positive HIV results. HIV positive results. Because people are worshiping puss. And jumping up and down on dick. Because they're immature and toxic. So their brain is all over the place. And they can't think straight and they can't focus. If I catch HIV, I don't care as long as I get my groove on. Then maybe you need to get HIV so you can get a wake-up call. Sometimes you got to hit your face on concrete before you get a wake-up call. And stop focusing on the wrong god dang thing. But anyways, thank God for Kyle. Thank God for men like him. Thank God for Grandpa. I don't know him from a can of paint. But my heart is sad that he's gone because there's so many few men like him in the world. So many few. And I feel like I'm learning him in reverse, and that has happened to me before, and I don't like it, right? Somebody dies, and then you get to know them after they're gone from their family and friends, and I hate the reverse thing. I'd like to know them while they're here. If they're a good person, I like to know them while they're here. But anyway, Grandpa loved the hell out of his grandkids. He loved Ellis and Winnie. He loved Jenny. Treated Jenny like, she was his daughter, I mean, good men. They're so few, they're so rare. And good women, just rare. Rare. Absolutely rare. So, you guys take care. Much love. And I was on my way to do an errand today. I got an alert on my phone that said, basically, there's a tornado in your area. Seek shelter now. Okay. So needless to say, I made a U-turn and went back because whatever errands I need to do can be done at a later time. I don't need to be caught up in a tornado. It's just not something I want to sign up for. All right. You guys take care. Much love, and I'll talk to you later.